Hello, everyone. It's episode 72 of the Fitness Business Growth Podcast. I'm back with two-time guest, Jake Wilmott. How are you, mate?
I'm very, very good. I should feel honored. Two-time guest. I'm not three times. Is anyone three times?
Mate, I'm actually recording with Brooke tomorrow. I'm going on holidays to visit you guys in person.
Brooke's going to beat me to three times.
Yeah, no, well, mate, I think you're our second guest ever. So for those that don't know, Jake owns Fitribe, an online coaching company that sells 26-week programs to nurses and teachers. Now, the first time I had Jake on the podcast, the business has grown leaps and bounds, leaps and bounds, leaps and bounds. And I think it's one thing to have one 100K month. Anyone can get lucky, mate. Clock's right. The broken clock's right twice a day. But to do it consecutively is a whole another thing. To have that stability in your business is truly that next level thing. So, Jake, introduce yourself. Tell me about Fitribe, the beginnings, how it started, and give us the ABC of Fitribe.
Yeah, beautiful. So, yeah, like Jayme said, we've been running Fitribe now for two and a half years. Initially, we started Fitribe literally in a weekend. We created Fitribe in 3 days and have really never looked back. We've always coached nurses and teachers. We've sort of sporadically gone in and out of those two niches and learned so much. I run this with my wife. We have a business partner, Paige, as well. There's been so many learnings. The big thing that Fitribe is, we're very open to outside help and learning and growing because, I still even feel like where we're currently at in the business, albeit is in a very good place, there's still so much to learn every single day. And we have a motto within Fitribe. I think LSKD have the same motto. It's just like 1% better every single day, every single week, if it's the program, if it's sales, if it's just yourself. And that's been a philosophy that I think that we've really all taken into 2024. And yeah, it's really, really exciting. People like Jayme, JD being such a, pivotal role in where Fitribe are today really is.
I appreciate that, mate. But you said something that I speak in the mirror to myself. Better is better than new. And
always improving.
Once you reach scale, those 1% make a huge difference. Like if you halve your lead cost, everything else remains the same. You double your business. So as opposed to starting retreats and chasing those shiny objects, let's halve that lead cost first.
Yeah. Like shiny object syndrome has been a big one for us as well. Like I know we were like when we first started Fitribe, we wanted to do like Barley Retreats and I don't know. There were so many things we've done all had ideas on it over the years, and mentors always just go like, do what's working.
Yeah,
keep making that.
It's amazing, mate. Because when we met, you were talking about retreats, and at that point, you didn't have a full understanding on your numbers. And yeah, I am the guiltiest person in the world. Every phone call I have with Mitch is like, better is better than new, 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 and we were going to start a school community. And it was going to be $9.95 per week. I was going to get 1,000 gym owners in there. Now, could I do that? Probably. Is it the wrong decision? Absolutely, because done for you is getting better and better and better and better. And that will always be there. That will always be there. That Barley retreat will always be there. And being focused is learning to say no to shit.
Hard though, right? Like it's especially when I think when you get to a point of, business success, and I know you guys are absolutely crushing it, and there are bigger opportunities and better can be, you could say better opportunities, but it is the hardest thing as a human to not want to go to the shiny of it, because we all have it. We get excited, especially when you got, friends, your friends are in the same space or similar spaces that, I'm doing this or doing that. And it's
I get caught up in that too, mate. And we are very much in the online space, mate. Everyone's full of shit. Everyone's fucking lying about their numbers. I know these people. What you see isn't real. And it's no one knows who Jake Wilmott, Jade Wilmott now actually, and Paige Dudding is. And you guys should be the ones mentoring online coaches because you fucking done it. You fucking done it, right?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing with like numbers, and even when we hire someone, I think can be sometimes our downfall, like too transparent. But we've always had that philosophy where maybe in the past, like we've all been, burnt or scenarios where we just didn't like it. And, it sort of allowed us to know, well, this is the way we want to act. And, people that want to be a part of that, like this is how transparent is. And we're, very, very honest. And I think it's been a really good attribute that we've all sort of allowed us to get to where we are today.
I think the best entrepreneurs I've ever met, they actually don't care about money. And that's kind of almost hard to believe because people start businesses to make money. I just love the process. I
Yeah.
love those 1%ers. I love those. If we fix this, it's a hypothesis, this is the outcome. And when that comes off, it is probably the most fulfilling part of our business. And just recently, we changed our calendars from 7:30 a.m. to 7 a.m. And we've got bookings at 7, 7:10, 7:20. I'm like, fuck, I was right. How good is that? And I guess I love, mate, I just love, we'll call it improving leading metrics, because I know the lagging metric of more revenue and more profit is a result of just doing the good shit.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, I think it's the journey's always been like a big driver for myself, like even, like even outside of business, like using running as an example, like I'm not a very good runner. I've just stayed very consistent for, the last couple of years, and I'm still not far from where I want to be, but exactly the same mindset. Like, I just love that journey of the ups and downs. And it's so similar in business. Like,
There was a podcast with Jimmy Carr on Diary of a CEO. Jimmy Carr is the comedian, maybe the rudest comedian on earth, but he's very insightful. And I was like, it's not even the journey. It's not the destination. It's who you have to become on the journey. And someone who runs marathons has to be fucking consistent.
Yeah.
And that one word consistency might be the most important thing in life to accomplish.
100%.
And you cannot run a marathon if you're not consistent.
Definitely. Yeah. Like, it's the, you can use that literally same quote to, when it comes to business, like, we consistent.
Yeah. Are you consistently nice to Jade? Like, it's actually, yeah, it's almost a ridiculous notion that if you are consistent in whatever you pursue, you are almost guaranteed to achieve your goals if you're consistent with the right activity.
Yeah, and I think just like, you can be consistent, but it's been consistent for long enough. I think that's can be the downside to a lot of people. Like, we all want it done yesterday, and it's why our transition to bigger programs within Fitribe was a big game changer, not just for us as a business standpoint, but also from a consumer, because like, we get people such great results. Yes, we do sell 6-month program, but it's only 5% of our revenue. 95% of our revenue now comes from 12-month programs.
That's
so
interesting,
it's like,
mate.
Yeah. And it's been a game changer. Like, our follow through rate, extremely high. Like, we have very low drop off rate. Like, our program is something that is probably been a really big thing that we've focused on to just make it better. That's
you
something
you have to have a good product. No way.
Wow, revolutionary, guys. You can snip at this and say, this is the one thing you get from the podcast. Well, yes. No, we all know we need a good product, but yeah, like, it's just something we're proud of. We ooze it, and it's what we ooze to our sales team as well. Like, we have so much belief, and we know we get people results. So we want you to have that. You
just can't build really impressive things overnight. So our Done For You Everything service started May last year. So we're going into our 13th month, and I am embarrassed of what May was 2024. Like, we didn't have an onboarding call with our gyms. And now Mitch has this 45-minute Loom video that gym owners watch, half-hour call with him. Then they meet with Brody, they meet with Ivan, they meet with Paul, they meet with Jans, they launch on time. And that process now, while it's so dialed in, there has been so many iterations of that. And what I mean by that, there was so many shit iterations of that. And you just don't know what you don't know. You have to try shit.
It's so funny though. Or funny in the fact of, like, you look back and you're like, wow, how do we do that? But you still did it, right? And you still made it work, and it might have been messy, but I think for us over the last like 2 or 3 months, our sort of big growth at the moment is like bringing on setters and closers. And like, I think I was talking to you not long ago, just like asking for advice and tips and words of wisdom, because that's our biggest challenge right now, that we'd say within Fitribe, is just trying to manage teams. And
it goes back to the journey, right? It's who you have to become. And you have gone from a marketer to a salesperson to now a leader, a CEO, a manager of salespeople. And anyone listening, salespeople, I love you. I'm one of them to my core. It's in my DNA, but you are an absolute fucking pain in the ass to manage. You lie about your stats. I know you do. You know you do.
I'm sure that's a very touchy topic.
Mate, it's a funny thing, mate, because like, I've met some really like legendary salesperson, and they all have a few things in common. One, they are terrible at admin. Two, they are terribly organized. And if it isn't closing a deal, they will forget it exists.
Yeah, admin. We got to love that word, admin, right? Like, I feel like our VAs every single day in group chats just trying to be like, I need this, because obviously data is important.
It's interesting when we bring on salespeople now. it was quite a comprehensive program to educate them on the 100 gyms that we work with. So now before we even do any of the admin, it's like, hey, you close the deal, then I'll do all the admin for you for the first couple of weeks. Then once I know they can close, then I'll do all the admin stuff. Because if they can't get card details, they can't get a payment date, then well, why am I going through all the admin? So that's actually been really a game changer for us. So as opposed to going the whole experience, it's like here is some leads to call, here are some bookings for you to take. All I want you to do is get the card number.
It's good. Yeah, it's probably something we could probably incorporate, just because of the fact sometimes when we onboard people, it can be every single thing you onboard, and then a couple of weeks in they're not going to make it, or they don't make it.
Well, I had a guy that started, really lovely bloke, like the nicest guy ever, and he was referred from a friend and had a good reputation, and he quit after like 9 calls, just wasn't for him.
Yep.
And I went weeks and weeks and weeks of going back and forth, and then like when he quit, I was a little bit upset. But I wasn't upset that he quit. I was upset because of the time I put into him. So it's just like, how can we shorten that window? Get the card number. I had a guy start this week, actually, Steve, one of our trainers from Breakthroughs, doing sale calls now. Go, Steve. He closed 3 from 6.
Woo,
mate.
50% close rate. What a beast.
So now we can go through all the admin stuff.
No, I think that, but to be honest though, like even the stage where we're at with like over the last 3 or 4 months, like, when you start to put so much time into someone and then something else comes up, or they get offered another job, or something goes, it is so hard as a business owner, because I know, if my wife was on here, we had a scenario with a sales lady not long ago, and it was exactly the same. Spent so much time, and then, she got offered another job for what she used to do, and she thought it was the best opportunity. And it's hard because you put that time and effort to get that person up to scratch.
And I'm going to repeat it again, but better is better than new. So part of our process at the moment is getting more gyms, more bookings, increasing our average sale price. That does 2 things. The sales team make more commission, but the gym owners get a higher price client that can downsell their membership in the first week or 2. So better is better than new also applies for your team, because it gives them more opportunity to make more money.
100%, definitely.
Well, mate, when we met, it was last year. Now, you were doing 8-week challenges for $250. Is that right?
Yeah, I think it was about right. I think it was like just 200. I think, we did like 97 ones, 97. We had a lot of different.
And going back to what you said before, how did we even make that work? Please tell me, how did you make that work? Because that's ridiculous.
I don't know. I really don't know. Like we track data, from there, and like just some of the months, we'd have literally this time last year, one of our lowest ever months in Fitribe history was February last year. We nearly actually stopped Fitribe. I think I spoke about it on the first podcast.
That's wild.
And then we look back in a year's time, and some of the numbers we're hitting. Like that month, to give context, I think we brought in like 11,000, 12,000. Last month we brought in 130,000.
Wow.
So
11x, 12x.
Yeah, like it's wild numbers to then look back and go like, we literally was at the front of my parents' house. Paige, Jay, myself, we come back from it was actually a David Goggins, like he did a guest speaking appearance, and we were.
And you wouldn't have felt like carrying the boats at that time.
No, we were not wanting to carry the boats. We were literally 2 hours at the front of my parents' house trying to. Literally, then we all ended up being like, oh, we'll sleep on it, and then obviously we've kept Fitribe, and now it's become an absolute weapon. But
so in that moment, do we want to continue looking back in hindsight? What was the constraint? What was the bottleneck, and what wasn't working?
To be honest, it was probably at the time I was running ads. So, we hadn't outsourced that yet to you were the first person we outsourced to now having, Vela Media. But yeah, like we launched into New Zealand, super cheap leads, $2 leads, made sense number wise. I was like, wow, this is a game changer. Paige and I were doing 5 to 6 hours of calling a day and just getting so against our business. And, we're making sales, but not to the extent that we were in Australia. And yeah, Jay just had to could see it from an outside. And we just had to look back and go back to doing what we were doing, which was 8-week challenges still. But we were still doing well at that stage with where we were at. So, and
then you went to New Zealand chasing the cheaper lead, thinking that was the issue, not that you needed to be a better advertiser in Australia. And that is like the theme of this podcast is better than new. We saturated the Australian market. We can't make this work. We're going to New Zealand, even though time zones and Twilio and texting and the issues that come with that.
Even at now, we're still such a small fish, right? Like when you look at our marketing budget to, some of the big players, it's, our marketing budget for the month, they might spend in 2 or 3 days, right? So it's like, we're still a small fish in Australia, and, even the contemplation of being multi-platform just is so far-fetched for us right now. But
and that's where just like, it's amazing, mate. Like I have a couple of good New Zealand friends, but they are terrible to sell to. They are the most agreeable people in Earth, and then pull out after the onboarding session.
Yeah, it was a struggle. It really was. But we wanted to make it work, right? Like, that's the one thing that Fitribe have always been open to trying. Like we tried Europe. We used to get up in the early days, get up at 3 or 4 a.m. in the morning just to try. Like, we're always open to trying. But that one we probably tried for too long, and it became a deterrence, and Jade got annoyed and we all got annoyed, and it was, turned out to be that, not an argument, but a very heated discussion for a couple of hours.
So you slept on it? 13,000 for the month, or 11,000 for the month, sorry. You woke up the next day, and what made you want to persist at your lowest moment?
I just think it comes back to what we spoke about before, like the journey. I've always had this belief, and it probably comes back to, I used to be a pretty decent swimmer, and I started swimming when I was 10. And I've always had this I had this one coach, my first ever coach was like, hey, just like stick in it till you're like 17, 18 and you'll reap all the benefits. And I'm like, I'm 10, 11, thinking, wow, that's so far in the future. And in that time, I injured myself. I tore my groin. I changed swimming strokes, which is very unheard of. And by the time I was 17, I was top 3 in the country and reaping all the benefits from swimming. And I've always correlated that to business. Like, it's the journey, the ups and downs, and it was just going back to like what was working, and not being, I guess, having too much ego to not be afraid to do that, and that's the one thing we were talking about as someone the other day. As owners, we are very open to setting, to sales, to doing every single part of our business. And I don't think that will ever stop. I really don't.
Yeah.
We don't have an ego.
Going back to what working is such a great point, right? So in 2015, we made a real big tactical error, Jake. We increased our prices from $19.95 a week to $24.95 per week. I remember the first 2 members that signed up. And if we kept that price, we would have had an extra 509 members paying an extra $5 a week, $2,500 a week, over $100,000 of profit a year. Or on the flip side, we would have required 20% less members and delivered a better service. And I don't know what happened, but for whatever reason, we went back to $19.95 a week. And then I've made that mistake 5 times the last 10 years. And I've made it recently. I'm like, are you stupid? Do you not learn from your mistakes? And I announced to my entire team that I'll never make that mistake again. Because I'm always preaching to increase your prices. And like just the little things, just, it's amazing just how often you make the same mistake and then fuck, like what is that?
Oh, it's always hindsight's always easier said than done, right? But it's, I always think it's those scenarios where, yeah, it happens all the time. I think some people also won't say that it happens all the time, because it also comes back to that ego of like, no, I'm perfect. Well, no, we're not. Like,
yeah. One thing that I think Mitch and I have always been really good at is flat out, we got lucky. 2015, group fitness was booming. We were successful because of the location and the time. And Denzel Washington, ease is a greater threat to progress than hardship. We thought we were the smartest men in the world. We opened up location. And about the 5th one, and we thought, hang on, this isn't as easy as the first one anymore. Maybe we're not as good as we think. And I see like franchises selling franchises based on 2015, 2016 numbers, and it drives me fucking insane. Like you cannot sell a franchise, you cannot sell a program, you cannot do anything in 2024 the same way you were doing it 2015, because it was the absolute perfect storm for group fitness.
Yeah, I see ads all the time. Obviously, being in health and fitness, they always pop up on your news feed, a new gym, a new that. And at the end of the day, I always think it's, it can work, I'm sure. Like, the model does work. Obviously, it's been proven, with some very, very successful ones. But yeah, it's got to have the right things and the right team. And, there's so many aspects. Obviously, that's the industry, Jade, Page and myself all came from. So yeah, we knew that very, very well.
Yeah. If every fitness business coach on earth got together, Valor Media was behind the marketing. We had Brooke Triplett running the sales team. The Rock was our representative, the face of our business. We couldn't get to 509 members in Curry. We couldn't fucking do it. Like, it's
Yeah.
not possible anymore. And I think just acknowledging that, like, because we're quick to blame external circumstances when things don't work out. Oh, it was bad timing. It was bad luck. It was the location. It was X, Y, Z. But when it does work out, we never ever blame external things. Oh, I'm just so smart. I'm so good. Look at me go. It's what it is, though. Like,
It is, yeah.
man, like a huge part of success is like obviously like opportunity and preparation. The surface area for luck expands. It does, but a huge part of it is like market over the manager. So it's a Warren Buffett quote. Like, you cannot beat the market.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. Like it's very true. It is such a truthful quote for sure.
So, mate, when we met, you were doing 8-week challenges, selling for around that $250 mark. You hired me as your media buyer, but I don't think, to be honest, I did anything with ads for you. I think the biggest thing that I brought to the table, please correct me if I'm wrong, was just understanding your numbers.
Yeah.
And now we're going to talk about the boring shit. So I remember,
fun stuff. We love this, JD. We love the data.
I remember when you first came on, I was into your ad account. I had a look through and I thought, well, these numbers are all pretty good. I think I can definitely improve X, Y, Z. However, you just need to spend more money and you need to stop selling 8-week programs and go to 6 months or 12-month programs, because as you start to scale your ad budget, the cost to acquire clients will increase. You cannot scale online charging $250 a week. And then you went to 6 months then, or were you doing 12 weeks, 16 weeks? Just refresh my memory.
Yeah, so when we brought JD on, it was we transitioned to 6 months, and I'm pretty quickly after that we had 12 months, because at the time we had another sales manager on that was, or sales, you'd say mentor, that was very big on 12 months. And yeah, those two things followed with obviously the marketing help and the numbers was absolute revolution. Like, we had our biggest ever month. We didn't break that biggest ever month until early this year, in January, and it took a while to get back there. So, so hats off to yourself. Like, it was, we always talk about, like, we look back sometimes and reflect, and, we go like, what were the three biggest things that have been a game changer? And for the majority of us, you do fall into being in our top three. Well, it was such a game changer for where we're at. And, I don't think we would be like on this podcast talking about Fitribe if it wasn't, for those changes, because, we'd built some momentum again to be able to afford marketing, but it was so up and down. It was so sporadic. Like, I only learned, I self-learned or self-taught, but I didn't know the numbers to track. Like, even though I love data, I just didn't know. I only knew what I knew.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I really, really do appreciate that, mate. And even for me, the best entrepreneurs I've ever worked with, like, they are 97% of the way there. It is one thing unlocks them, right? And for you, it was just understanding your numbers. For me, Mitch, back in the day, it was moving away from send message ads to booking a call. And that one thing changed our business, mate, because we already could sell. We had a great product. I know Paige fucking cares about the members dearly, right? It was just that one thing that unlocked. But I remember most of our calls, mate, was just like, show us your funnel tracker. Yep. 10 to 1 ROI. It's like, what are you doing, mate?
I still use that to this day. Yeah,
I hope Valor Media approves it.
To be honest, no. Like, the funnel, I still use that funnel tracker, to this day. I've made adjustments to it, because obviously we have, a couple of, like, we still run the 26-week challenge. That's still the ad, and then we also run like a VSL, and I still use that data tracker each and every day. We tried to go down the Hyros sort of, adding it, and it just didn't work for us. Like, it was so messy with Payride and Stripe and other things, and I thought it would be a little bit more automated way to track data, but a couple of weeks later or a month later, we're back to manually doing it.
Yeah, I've gone through different types of tracking. Like, I was using Close tracking numbers, and mate, there's something about Google Sheets, and also we have VAs that help us now, but there's something about entering it yourself, forcing yourself to open up the ad account, to punch in the data, to count the bookings. And the more time you look at the data, you are looking for that unicorn. Like, okay, like, this week was bad because of this, as opposed to like, let's burn it all down and start again. And I work with so many gyms, mate. Some gyms I run their ads, that's it. Right. And I am looking for reasons not to change shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, leads are a bit slow this week because it's school holidays. Like, again, like, market over the manager.
Yeah, and I think the whole philosophy of like the up and down is something you're definitely on the alone once you start spending some decent dollars. But just always know there's going to be like 2 okay weeks, 1 week that makes no sense and it'll be really bad, and then one you'd say good week. And that's the philosophy every month we go into, and it always works its way out. To be honest, like I haven't really had to utilize the data just in regards to ads, because things in Fitribe have been each month is improving and heading in such a good direction. But it is something where I still like to have confidence to know, like, the cost per sale, cost per booking, making sure those stats are going in the right direction. We actually, off the back of using your funnel tracker, actually just made a pretty decent decision in regards to like how we were spending our advertising, because unfortunately I thought one niche was doing better than it was, but it wasn't, because the other niche was propping it up. So it made us shift the budget, but only by utilizing that data. I didn't have that up until about 2 or 3 weeks ago.
It's amazing, right? Sometimes you feel a certain way, you look at the data and it's just not the case. I feel a certain way about a salesperson. I look at their stats and think, oh, wasn't that bad. Wasn't that bad at all, right?
Yeah.
So I think when it's your money that you're putting into ads and it's coming out of your account and you see it get billed, it's very personal. Like, it's really, really personal. I would love salespeople to have to spend $1,000 on ads before they actually get any bookings themselves, so they can appreciate it's someone's fucking money going into that machine. And the more data that I track, the more confidence it gets me to spend more and more and more and more. And yeah, like I sometimes I think that June sucked, and I look back at June and think that was pretty good.
Yeah, like I think the data is something where, like, for the last probably 4 months in regards to advertising data, like I've definitely not prioritized it to the extent it should have been. And then I was just had a feeling. I don't even know what the feeling was. One day I'm like, I just don't feel like, I haven't seen as many like sales coming through this niche. And then I looked at it and the data proves that my feeling was right. And then, now we've shifted the ad budget to suit, and, we're shifting it to we do try and keep the 50-50 ad spend on both niches. But, right now it's a little different, and we're trying to get that other one back up to 50%, because we do want to have 2 niches, that's for sure.
And it's amazing, mate. You were tracking data before, you stopped tracking, now you're tracking again.
Literally. It was always being tracked, to be honest. Yeah. Like it was always tracked.
Not as much attention.
It was just no attention from me. Like, it's like tracking data for the fact of tracking it. That's what I was doing.
Yeah, well, so I used to track like just ad spend, like cost per sale, and now I've gone so granular that I actually track what image it came through. Yeah. Because obviously some images and videos have a much higher cost per lead. You think, oh, that sucks. But then if you actually track back the sales, what Hyros does effectively. But like even Go High Level is so good now, it will tell you which image it came through. Yeah. And then what I do as a marketer is, well, if that image is doing really, really well, then I just duplicate more images like that one.
It was the reason why, to be honest, we wanted to go with Hyros, was due to that, but it just never worked out, unfortunately. And I think we only lasted a couple of weeks just on trial with them. But yeah, that wasn't our initial thought, or my initial thought, because it was a decent little spend to get that up and running. And then, it just didn't work out with the integrations and things like that. Because knowing that, like you said, knowing the video, that's getting you the best cost per sale or the most amount of sales, just makes sense, right? To then up the ad spend on that one.
Oh, sorry, mate, you dropped out there. Are you there?
Yep. Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yep. Sorry, you were saying knowing the best image or best video for cost per sale.
Yeah, I was just saying, like, obviously with like Hyros, like that was why we wanted to use it. Was literally to know that data point. And I think I might have to steal an update. Maybe it sounds like you got an updated sheet, Jayme.
Yeah, so I have another VA who actually tracks. So we have every single booking that goes in. I have a sheet, and I register like were they paid, organic, referral, and I used to stop there, but now I have the actual ad it came through, and we can get cost per sale per ad, and it's just so important, mate. Like, I still think volume of leads is the highest, most important thing, because I think you improve lead quality off the back of the opt-in through the funnels, through the VSLs, through the thank you pages. But some ads just really surprise you, where you just, oh man, it's just data, mate. Data and marketing's weird.
It is. Sometimes it makes no sense whatsoever.
Cool. So, mate, online coaches that listen to this hear consecutive 100K months and they can't make one sale. What do you say to them?
Oh, that's a good question. Like, it's obviously, one, like it starts from having, good marketing. To be honest, our organic marketing when it comes to health and fitness is quite poor. It's something where we still post, we still upload, but there's never really been much thought and many sales have never really come through that. But yeah, like just to, get that consistency, it definitely comes to a point of, now we're at a stage where we have a team, team of setters, team of closers. But it was something initially that, Paige, Jade, and myself all did. Like we all could sell, albeit I don't think I was very good at it, and some were better, suited to it, albeit that was Jade's, capability. And that's where she's taken over, managing the sales team. But I think it's one of the things with like health and fitness, we sometimes they worry about the wrong thing, the program, or this or that. And it's like, obviously those things are so important and we assess it every single week. But, I think at the end of the day, if you're not getting sales coming in the door, then, 10K months, 20K, 50K, 100K, it just won't ever happen. It'll be a dream or a pipe dream. And I think that's the big thing you can see in the health and fitness industry.
Yeah, I think it's just like you just have to commit to the activity, whether it is if you're doing organic, send those messages. If it's paid, run more ads, run more tests. And I think that the correct answer is like if you've got 0 sales, you are the setter, you are the closer, you are the onboarder, you are the person who is delivering the program. And fingers crossed, I hope that you get to the point where you have to choose onboarding call over sales call. And unfortunately, the onboarding call then comes second. And then you can actually hire someone off the back. So with you in Fitribe, since working with you, like what are some of those key hires that you've made? Like have you outsourced more of the program? Have you outsourced more of the setting or more of the closing? Or I guess a better question would be, what was the order of the outsourcing of responsibilities to where you are now?
Yeah, definitely. So obviously for us, the first outsource was marketing, e.g. while we brought JD on, because, it's something where initially, like I obviously up until that stage, 1.5 years of running Fitribe, or it would have been 1.5. Like we'd done well on ads, but I was no expert. I was just always trying to self-taught from YouTube. So that was the first thing. And obviously when we left JD, we were in like limbo land for a good couple of months there. For us, like agencies were really pricey. And then we found one, which is Vela Media. Definitely not cheap, but, has definitely been worth it. Because obviously for us, like consistency was a big thing, when it has. And that's like the top of funnel, right? Like getting that down pat was really important. Because at the end of the day, if leads dry up or people aren't coming in, then the rest of the funnel, albeit it's important, it's probably not, because the top of the funnel is the key, right?
I never thought about that. I never thought about that you'd outsource top of funnel first to make the rest of the funnel work. That's a good point.
Yeah. And then from there, like, we obviously, like Jade, Paige, and myself love to set. Like we love to be on the phones, and it's something we still do. We do a 1 hour call drive every day. It's still something we do till this day.
You are the first person that I've ever heard that says enjoys setting. So for those that don't know, what is setting, Jake?
Yeah. So obviously being on the phone, guys, booking in sales calls, I love it. Like I really do. And it's something, you're definitely not the first person to say it, but it's just something like, you got to enjoy your business, right? And then that's something we do enjoy. So I do we like to keep, I'm not going to say we do it every single day. That would be a lie, but almost every single day, Monday to Friday, was at least an hour a day. But yeah, like now we're at a stage where we have a setting team, we have a closing team. We've recently outsourced to, Matt Ryder's SDR call center. So super early days to know what that's going to look like. But, we still have setters that are all, their aspirations are to become closers. And that's been a really, it's worked really well for us, to be able to mold them into good setters, but ultimately to transition them into closing. And that's
so before anyone is a closing, do you have like a probationary period where you must set for a month or must set X number of appointments? Do you set your own bookings? Like, what does that look like? Because that's a whole other fucking story.
Like it's probably it's been so interesting, like, obviously, because like we haven't been in high ticket for that long, right? Obviously, and we haven't been outsourcing for that long to really be masters at what this looks like. It's only been 3 or 4 months that we've been, really like properly outsourcing. So we're still really learning with like what is best. But right now, every single closer that comes on, everyone starts on a trial. It's always a proving ground. I think that's just always, I think it's the best way of going about it for this industry at least. And then from there, every closer does set their own appointments. But it always does depend on their ability as well. If someone is proving and an absolute weapon and a gun, we don't want to stop that, because we do have a really, we have a setting team that will set anywhere from 60 to, 100 appointments a week, right? So there's a lot of opportunity there, right?
So you're getting 100 inbound bookings a week at the moment.
Yeah.
Far out, mate. You've come a long way. Congratulations. That's a lot of appointments.
It is a lot of appointments, which is
Okay, so I want to get to the weeds of this. So how many leads are you generating a week roughly?
anywhere from about 250 to about 300 a week.
Okay, and what percentage book in to a calendar automatically, roughly?
Um, a lot don't come through discovery. So a lot of ours is just purely like our outbound is so much more successful than discovery. As like a broad sort of number, it'd be maybe like 30 or 40%. But our
Okay.
outbound gets us the most amount of sales.
Man, that's crazy. And have you tracked the inbound sales to the outbound sales? I guess
Yeah, like that's
people that opt in and book in a call for high ticket, if they're not willing to have a 15-minute triage call, they're probably not that serious.
Yeah. Like, to be honest, I think it sits like at 65% is outbound.
Okay.
Compared to that ones that are coming in through like a discovery, just triage funnel.
Yep. So say you get 300 leads a week, for example, you have 100 appointments on the calendar. Are they half-hour calls or 45 minutes?
Half-hour calls, that's right.
Okay. Are you still doing on Zoom or over the phone?
Still on Zoom. It's
Still on
something where
Zoom.
we haven't shifted yet, but when I was talking to Matt Ryder the other day, he's like, you should probably try doing it by phone.
Yeah. So that was my thought also too. You could only imagine that would decrease your show rate, someone having to pull over their car and hop on Zoom or having to put makeup on for the Zoom call or whatever the case may be, right? Like you want to lower the barrier to entry. I guess what you want is you want as many opportunities as possible for people to close over the phone. And I think anything that stops that would, but what's working, right? Why would you change it?
Exactly. Like it's definitely something in the pipeline. I would say, maybe over the next couple of months, we might start to, and that's always a luxury of like, Jade, obviously my wife, CEO of Fitribe still does, sales. So she's
That's
always
so good.
she's always our test dummy when it comes to like changing a process like that, like trying to do it via, shifting from Zoom to a phone call. Like I wouldn't want to do that to the team. Obviously now we have, couple of salespeople on board. I don't think that can be fair to then stop their, revenue coming in for them.
Okay, so back to the numbers: 300 leads, about 100 bookings. How many closes do you have?
We currently have 3, so
So
two plus Jade.
Yeah, so 100 bookings times 30 minutes. That's 30 hours of calendar availability that you need, and you've got 3 closers, and one of them is Jade.
Mm-hmm.
Between me and you, mate, is Jade the top closer?
She is, but there's been a transition period now. So
you'd almost want her to be the third best closer, and then she can go back to being CEO.
Yeah, like it's been a big focus for us over the last like month or two, and I think we're getting really close to that. I'd probably say we're maybe another month or two from that, like really coming to play. We've got some really good, like the closers at the moment we have are really, really good. And, they've all started. One's been with us for 6 months, one's been a setter with us for 3 months prior to becoming a closer. So it's just once again, that was part of the
massive shout out to Jade, COO, married Jake, is a mum, sets appointments, closes appointments. Is there anything that she can't do?
Absolute weapon. I'm sure you have to get her on the podcast. She's so
good,
I don't know. Her mind works in mysterious ways, and still thinks of amazing ideas to make us Fitribe a better business all the time.
Cool. So then you got about 30 appointments, and how many sales roughly making a week now?
Anywhere from like 10 to 15 sales a week. That's been really, really exciting for us. Allowed us to be hitting some record breaking months. That's for sure.
That's so good, man. And it's the consistency, right? It's that 10 on a bad week, 15 on a good week. Over the month, it's around that 50 to 60 sales.
Oh,
you got me, mate?
We are. Sorry, I can hear Jade's actually on a sales call, so that's probably why the internet's struggling. Sorry.
How's it going? Any idea?
It sounds like she's doing well.
That's good. That's good. So we caught up in person, which was lovely. I think it was December last year, and you were talking about getting some sales mentoring, some sales coaching, and now you're working with Brooke, obviously a good friend of mine. But now you've got an excellent marketing in Valor Media, leads are pumping. You've got setters, you're trialing SDR, you're getting 100 bookings a week. Now it is time to close and close at higher prices, which loop back around and then you can spend more money on ads at top of funnel. So I reviewed one of Jade's calls and politely, I almost fell off my chair. It was terrible, but you were still making sales.
Yeah. You reviewed one of my calls as well, JD, and said that was one of the worst sales calls that I listened to. And I feel like actually since that day, I don't think I've done sales.
Mate, it's interesting because some owners love doing sales for their own program, but sometimes it's really personal because it's your ad spend, right? So it can kind of go both ways.
Yeah, like it's always hard, right? Like, especially when we brought Brooke on, right? Like it comes back to what I've been saying throughout. You only know what you know, right? And then when you listen to the shift of scripts, so the old script that we used to follow, I crushed. I closed very well on it. And Jade, I used to beat Jade, so I was like, well, hey, like number wise, stat wise, month on month would beat Jade. And then the shift to, Brooke changed our script, being a lot more emotional, being a lot more conversational. I struggled. I really, really did. And I could not grasp that concept. And, for us, we made a smart decision, obviously with the little man, obviously having Eli, 10-month-old now, it was just a smart decision to, she was better off the start with that script. And now she's become an absolute weapon.
Mate,
Closes,
I'll kill it for one of her call recordings, mate.
yeah,
I'll get one.
It's like it's an art form now. Like I think
Yeah.
she closes around like 55, 60%, not last month before 35 sales, like, doing some decent numbers. That's for sure.
So she's a 100K a month closer. Go Jade.
Yeah. Wild.
So good.
It's wild.
And I guess like, obviously maybe you crushed with your old script at a certain price. And then as the time has gone on, the length of the program has increased, the price of the program has increased, where I think that shift in script was super important to be more conversational. And you mentioned something at the start of the call that was super interesting. You're now doing 12 months, so there's more buy into the program, or are the prospects being sold the correct way, where they are buying into the product on the phone as opposed to being sold to? What are your thoughts around that?
Yeah, no, I think it's definitely true. Like we literally had a conversation maybe a couple of days ago with one of our closers about, we had a lady that only wanted to lose, I think it was like 5 or 10 kilos, and she pushed her beliefs in saying that, oh, that lady only needs 6 months, and we were like, why? Like, why is that the case? When it comes to losing 5 to 10 kilos, yes, you probably can lose it in 6 months, but then it's about maintaining the result past that 6 months, and that's why we have so much belief in our 12-month program, because, for us, like, we've had people that have started at weight loss to then running a 5K to doing triathlons. We had a lady do a boxing fight the other day, like just stuff that
Cash to camp. That's so cool.
Yeah, like it's just stuff where it's like, maybe that's not who we target, but it's like, it's just what that comes on that 12-month journey, right? And because our program is so tight and we have so many things in place where people don't drop off and can't drop off, it's allowed us to just get such good results. And, I think it's just sales who will push their beliefs onto the prospects, and it can be good and bad. Most of the time bad, unfortunately.
Yeah,
I used to do it. I used to do it with like high ticket. When we first started high ticket, I used to think that was a crazy price to spend on health and fitness.
Yeah, it's the biggest thing, mate. What you just said then is people spend from their own wallet, and it just does my head in. Like, if someone's on a call and they've gone through your VSL, they've watched all the reviews, if it's 60 a week or 70 a week or 80 a week, it is the same purchasing decision. And I also believe, mate, the more that you spend, the more that you pay attention. You really do. Like, you want these people to really care about the product, the program, their result. And a huge part of it is like, well, like, I don't want to waste my money. It's one of the biggest motivating factors.
Yeah, literally. Yeah, and that's some of the thing that always blows my mind sometimes. Obviously, the price point right now, anywhere from 60 to 100 a week. And I'm like, some people then like fall off, and like we do our due diligence, reach out, call, email, everything we can, and then they still like just don't do it. And I'm like, that still blows my mind to this day.
Yeah, it's just the nature of fitness, mate. Like, people, like, there are going to be a certain percentage of people that are just, mate, they've been struggling for 40 years. You can't change it. You can't change it in a half-hour phone call. And even if you change
100%.
it temporarily, they can still change back again, which is why the data is so important, because you might say, we need to change the program. Or it might be that Sally, unfortunately, is just never going to stick to it and lose weight.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, definitely. No, I definitely agree with that.
So we spoke about acquisition marketing a lot. I want to get into Paige's role in the business. And would Paige be is Paige still in control of the product, the program? Is she improving the product, the program? Do you have other coaches? And what do you actually deliver in your program? Because I think people always think 100 a week's expensive, but what do they get?
Yeah, definitely. So it's been really exciting for us over the last month. So we finally have brought on a coach, albeit part-time. So that's been a decent little step for us. Up until a month ago, Paige has done everything. So, we have right now, last count was over 250 people that are a part of Fitribe.
250 clients.
Yeah, over 250 clients that are a part of Fitribe. And up until, like 2 or 3 weeks ago, Paige was doing all of it, albeit, we have little things like I help out, like I would say right now my role is like the all-rounder. help with like managing the team, data, ads, all that sort of stuff. But yeah, so we've now outsourced that. She's still not officially part of the team. She's still on trial. Everyone starts on trial, but she's definitely going to be a part. She's a weapon, the coach that we're bringing on. But yeah, customized fitness, nutrition, we're very boutique, very customized, because obviously with coaching teachers and nurses, it has to be customized around them. Like shift working is a whole different ball game compared to a 9 to 5, So for us, like nurses is the predominant niche that we coach. And it's just something where like customized fitness, nutrition, accountability, they have access to us 24/5. We do take weekends off, so there's no communication on weekends. And everyone's
I love that, mate. Like just with your family, like anything can wait till
everyone's
Monday.
fine with that. Like, initially when we did it, we used to do 24/7 and we were applying at like ungodly hours and crazy stuff.
Yeah.
And then, when we shifted to it, we thought there'd be, like, as you do in a business, you think there'll be an exorbitant amount of backlash, and there wasn't. People were
That's
like,
your belief, mate. That was your belief broken.
I totally understand. So, that's what we offer at Fitribe, so it's customized to them. They get, Looms, Zooms, calls, lots of different stuff as well. It's tailored to that individual person.
I think one of the most important things, mate, is just setting expectations from day one. Like, hey, you have access to us 24/5. You may or may not know this, but me and Jay just had a beautiful boy, Eli. I'm sure you can understand. I want to spend time with my son on the weekend. Is that okay? What person is going to say that's not okay, Jake?
Well, about 80% of our people, we don't know. I don't know that stat, but I would sure be pretty high. Our mums, right? Like,
Mate, send the survey out, find out.
We only coach females, right? So it's like, everyone's a mum, and I think everyone understands. But once again, like, you only know what you know. I had that belief, and we all, to be honest, we all actually did. We all believed, we were like, wow, this is going to cause a detriment. And I can't remember what made us, probably Jade, to be honest. She's always can be a little bit optimistic, make the change, and then it's been very helpful, that's for sure.
Yeah. I remember, mate, I think I shared this story before. So we had 3 boot camps in community halls, and we merged them into one commercial facility, and we increased our prices from $20 to $49.95 per week. So a massive, massive increase. And we thought this is going to cause hell on earth. So Mitch wrote this beautiful email, scripted it out, and he put in every single gym in the area and what they were charging. And they were all around that $50 a week. So the members saw that, hey, like, we aren't doing this to rip you guys off. This is just the price of being in a commercial facility. Out of those 100 people, at the time, we lost 3 people. 3 out of 100, and we increased the prices by $30 a week. So,
wow.
But beliefs are a funny thing, mate. And even to this day, mine are constantly being reset of what's actually possible.
Yeah. And I think that's the limiting beliefs, like, the big thing we like even learning just as we're bringing team members on, salespeople on, is their mindset around these things. Like, the mindset obviously is so important. I know we all know that it's important, but the actual, actuality of that happening, I think, is sometimes when you have an outside point of view and you look in and you're like, you're pushing their beliefs onto people, or have that belief where you're going to lose half your members, like things like that. Yeah. It's fun to look back on, that's for sure.
Yeah. So what has been the evolution of Jake from when we first met, maybe March or April last year, until today? How have you grown as a father? How have you grown as a business owner? What is the answer to that question?
Yeah, like, I was talking to you this before, like, since being a dad, it's been such a good shift. Like, it really is. And it's been such a game changer for both Jade and I. I'm sure she would say something very similar. Like, just makes business so much more rewarding in ways like you can't. I could not physically describe it to someone or to anyone listening to this podcast, because unless you have a kid, you would not know. You just wouldn't. Like, it's, and this is to give context, guys. Like, Jade and I having a kid was not on the cards for many years. Like, it just wasn't. It really wasn't something we found out we were pregnant in London. We were traveling. We were going to come home for Christmas and then go travel America. Like, that was on the cards. We'd sold everything. I only had a car at home because my dad was like, I'll look after it. We sold our house, everything, and, until for that to happen. And that was one of the things of like sinking or swim, when that's why we had to build Fitribe and build it to where it is now.
So just to be clear, like, Jade was pregnant when you had that moment in February of like, we're going to quit this or do something else.
Yeah. So
that's a lot of pressure. That's a lot of pressure, mate, with a wife that's 2 months pregnant.
Oh, we did some wild stuff. There's some crazy stories. So to add to that story, I just bought a $7,000 triathlon bike 1 month before finding out we were pregnant, and I was paying that off throughout the year. And obviously, finding out we were pregnant was not on the cards. And we were doing Airtasker, just stuff like just to make like that's once again, Jade and I have no ego. Like if that's what we have to do to eat, to live, to function. Like we're not against that. Like it's not above us. And I think some people that would be above them. Like we were fly dropping. But
so good.
Yeah, it's a wild story. There's so much more. There'd be a huge tangent. You probably make a whole podcast on the last 12 months or more. But the transition to being a dad it's so amazing. Your time management. I've always believed I've had very good time management. I've always had that belief, but it makes it even more important now, where we're now settled. So for the last month, we've been settled in one place. So we have put Eli into daycare.
That's so cool.
There was a level of guilt there, we work for ourselves.
I love my 2.5-hour gym workouts where I just do biceps and play on my phone.
But it's one of those things where dad guilt, mum guilt is a legitimate thing. And I think for us, it's, we had to get past that or grow to know that this is bettering us. And when we do have the time with them, it's amazing, because for us, our business is such something it was our baby before Eli. It was, and I'm sure it's the same for many business owners that are listening to this, but you have to find that balance. And I think everyone's balance is different, but yeah, I love it. I really do. It's, Jade calls me a loser dad. But love it.
What the hell's a loser dad?
I have no cares. It's just Eli and I don't care if I look like a dick when I'm out. It's just, I'm just myself.
Well, I didn't want to be a dad for a very long time, only because I grew up in a very rough environment. My parents were definitely not well off. And for me to bring a child in this world, I just always wanted to be financially secure, just to be able to not care so much about business. And I hope when I have a kid, it just mellows me out, because I can't imagine that anything actually matters more than the health of your baby.
Yeah. It's a tricky one. And to be honest, that's why for us, that's what we didn't think, having a kid was on the cards, because Fitribe was not at a place where we wanted it to be. And, for us, it forced us. It really did force us. And I once again, you wouldn't understand unless you were in that environment. And it was a make or break situation for us. So
being the father, being the man in the house, is it a desire to provide that you've never felt before? Like, I have to make this work. Like, it is truly sink or swim.
I truly believe that. It's it's that scenario where, talk back to the discussion we said earlier where, we were talking about going to get other jobs, and we wanted to make this work because I wanted to be able to have that luxury to be able to, have a day with Eli and have many days with Eli, and luckily we're at a place where that is very doable. And I think once again, if you're listening to this and you're not a dad, you just would not understand. And it's so, you look back and it's easy to say that, but I used to think excuses when obviously we've always coached mums when they're like, kid's sick. I've been sick for the last 2 months. I'm sick. To be honest, I was going to message you. I was lying out there. I've been sick. I've been permanently sick for the last 2 months.
Mate, people no-show sales calls. Hey, no-show podcast. Don't you worry.
But it's just been wild. I did a story about it a couple of days ago. 2 years, people said. 2 years I've got to put up with this, the daycare sickness. So
So I think the biggest takeaway from this podcast, guys, is Jake and Jay were in Europe in December. Jay was 2 months pregnant. In February, they had a moment, is Fitribe going to continue, or are we going to quit? We're going to throw in the towel. And they've gone from $13,000 a month to $130,000 a month last year. And in that 12-month period, they were doing Airtasker to get by as they grew the fucking business. And that's really fucking inspiring. You always see the end, Fitribe, 6 figures, $1 million company, but you just don't fucking see the shit. And hope everyone hears this. It's not easy. Don't expect it to be easy. It's going to be hard. You're going to want to give up. 2 p.m., you're going to think, I should go get a job. 4 p.m., I'm back. Business is great. And that is just the highs and lows that you go through.
Yeah. It's, for us, we've only recently upped our pay, maybe in the last couple months,
Big spender.
Yeah. But it's we've kept it very lean because we knew where we wanted to build it, and we're all very patient. And, there's been push and pulls from Jay, from Paige, from me. Like, we all have a direction we want to go. And sometimes, you just have to have that faith. And, obviously the faith is definitely showing itself. And, the goals we set for 2024, we've nearly already hit them. Some wild, and those have shifted as the year's gone to, and there's been so many people that have helped us, yourself, Brooke, Charlie, like so many people that I just know we wouldn't be where we are today without them.
So I want to touch on that. You mentioned a few times getting outside help. Sometimes it is hard to say, hey, I suck at this area. I need some outside help. It's definitely not something that you struggle with. So how is it so easy for you to say, hey, like, I don't know this, I need help? And you attribute a lot of that to your successes in getting learning marketing, better at sales, and just you just keep like leveling up and getting mentors. Like, why do you feel like that's so important?
I just think you have to be vulnerable. And I think that's the hardest thing with ego, and I think it's one of the big things that all three of us have the same mentality. We're always open to learn. Like, I feel like, I still feel to this day, like we're such a small fish. We still have so much to learn, because I know we do, that motto that we have to what we preach to our clients, to our team, is just that 1% better. And, I think it is easier said than done. I can understand, because as you do grow and get different skills, there's always going to be a little bit of cockiness, or like, hey, I'm actually doing pretty good here. But, for us, like, we're always, if someone's doing it better than us, I'm not afraid to ask or have an uncomfortable conversation. Is someone that I've looked up to, like, I don't mind if that's going to make me better and grow Fitribe or whatever venture that is. I'm more than happy to have that conversation. Even when we took the risk to bringing on an agency, it was a calculated risk, but that was probably a little before we were ready. Like, we weren't, and obviously it's worked out amazingly now, but when we did that was a very big investment, and we were open about that, like, hey, this is a lot of our money right now, but it worked out amazingly. And once again, internally grateful that we had that confidence to make that decision.
The key word there was calculated. And I remember before you joined Valor Media, you were talking to other agencies, and I've only heard amazing things about Charlie. So I'm not saying go get a mentor, the first fucking ad you see on Facebook. Do your research, be calculated, find the right person, number one, that has probably done the thing that you want to accomplish, or has had experience growing a company that you want to aspire to be like. And number two, do you fucking like them as a person? Do your values align? Are they good people? And if those three things line up, then I think you've got a pretty good mentor in place.
Yeah, like, and I'm sure Charlie wouldn't be against me saying this. Like, he is what we want. Like, he stops at middle of the day. He has a son, gets to spend time with him, works when he wants, like, it's that's what we want to do. Like, for us, building Fitribe was always about having freedom and, luxuries and things like that. Like, we do want to, scale up, but we never wanted to be the biggest in health and fitness. Was never our intention, and that's the place where we're very happy with where we're at. Yeah. So I think those rules that Jayme just said, I would definitely recommend implementing them, because, I think people always think, yes, you do need a mentor, but sometimes they will come in at different times. Like, I classified you as a mentor.
Like, I hate that word, mate. I'm no guru. I just know how to track numbers.
Yeah, but it's like, and I know it can be hard to hear, but you have played a very pivotal. I've said it earlier, right? And I really do mean that. Like, there's so many things. Like, the sheets you initially got me to use, like I said, I still use it to this day, and I think it's helped our business.
Mate, I got that sheet off Andrew Gusson. Mate, I think it's so important to give people credit where credit's due, and like, my biggest mentor in life has probably been Andrew Poulton, and it's interesting, mate. Like, he's obviously a great salesperson. And I'm pretty sure that, I don't know where our script originates from. I think it might be him or Matt Ryder. It's either one or the other. But outside of the sales, mate, it was just being a good operator. And it's something that I struggled with. I was always a bit of a lone wolf. And now managing a sales team the same way he used to manage me, like, just so unbelievably helpful. Like, I cannot stress the skills I learned, the skill that you learned with me for that 3-month period you're using today, the skills I learned off AP, I'll use for the rest of my life, man.
Yeah, and I think it's like you will always learn something off someone, albeit it could be like what not to do as well. And I think that can be the big thing, like that we're definitely learning. Like, we came into this year wanting to like network more and just, see other fields and industries and see what other people are doing. And, I think that's how you can learn a lot and implement it. And obviously pick and choose. Like, you don't have to implement every single thing that person's doing, because it might not make sense to you, you know.
Mate,
And I think that,
I listen to one person only. Guess who it is?
yeah, you told me Alex Sarmosi, right?
That's it, mate. I find that sometimes you get shiny new object syndrome with mentors. Like one of our best sales guys, Dylan, he loves Gary Vee and then he loves Alex Samosi. And they are two very different mentors. Gary Vee's like, live, laugh, love. And Samosi's like, win at all costs, don't be a bitch. So I
Well,
think it's important that if you do have a mentor, I think it's important that you don't have mentors that contradict. Again, do you value the life that they live? Do you
100%.
want to be a workaholic? Do you want to say fuck your feelings and get the job done? Or do you want to be more relaxed and laid back? And that's for me, like me and Mitch, we only have one shining light. And it's like, well, like we look up to him so much. Obviously, done to everything is very similar to Gym Launch. So I think it's really important to really soul search about what you want to accomplish and then find people that have done something like that.
I believe that's so truly, because I think with social media, there's so much out there, you know, podcast this, podcast that. We're on a podcast right now, right? You know, and I think there's so much, it's so easy to consume, you know, but, you know, I always add this as well. Like I go through stages, you know, and I'm probably not the one person and just listen to one person, but, you know, I think I go in different stages at different times of the things that I need and want. And that's why I actually asked you the question, like I think a month or so ago, where I was like, hey, what podcast do you consume, just to sort of see what others are doing, and you know if there's things out there, because you know sometimes when I ask, there's like I get like weird books or weird podcasts to listen to, and I listen to them, and they're so helpful.
Yeah. Well, my three favorite podcasts, it would be The Game, number one. Number two, it would be Coffees is for Closers. I love that podcast. So good. And my third one would probably either be Diary of a CEO or Modern Wisdom, one or the other.
Diary of the CEO is a
Predominantly,
good one.
if I'm sitting in the sauna or sitting in an ice bath or cleaning the house, headphones on, it's The Game on repeat, just going even through old episodes.
Love it. Yeah,
Cool.
Those are good recommendations.
Mate, what is the next 12 months of Fitribe? Last question. What is the goal? Is it revenue? Is it profit? Is it lifestyle? Is it a combination of the three?
Yeah, like, you know, we came into this year with a huge goal of wanting to do a mill. That was the goal. That was the shining star for 2024. And, you know, initially it started as like just to do a mill contract, you know, to see that number.
Now we're talking cash.
Yeah, now we're probably going to hit that. To be honest, we could hit it this. The goal is to hit it this month, or if not next month. You know, our cash collected's sitting around 60, 70. That was a big problem as well. Didn't speak about. That was a big problem when we were working together, was our cash collected. So that's been a big game changer. But yeah, like it's finding that balance. You know, for us, like I said, we do want to keep scaling up, but we scale very meticulously. Like we're very risk adverse. You know, which can be a negative and a positive, but it's allowed us to feel comfortable and have buffers in place where we don't have to make stupid decisions, you know, and allows us to make those calculated decisions that we're talking about. So right now it's still definitely the revenue goal. You know, I'd say that would be our focus for definitely the next, you know, 12 months. But it is finding that balance between, you know, hitting these revenue goals, because like we're hitting numbers where like, yeah, like it's really cool. And I'm sure you know, I know you told me some figures last month, and, you know, it's exciting to see those numbers. And then you go, well, is it worth it to do that, you know, a little bit more than that, or, you know, but once again, you go through stages. I'm sure there'll be a stage where we want to make it the biggest thing in Australia. Who knows? But for this current place we're at in our life, and I think we're all on the same page, it's just keep scaling up, but being very mindful that we're not making stupid decisions. They're all calculated, no crazy. Keep the business lean. That's probably a good way of putting it, because our accountant always goes, and he's got very big players in health and fitness, and we are a very lean business.
Well, speaking of podcasts, mate, can you please ask Valor Media to restart business and investing? Because that may have been
I tell him every single time. Every single time. Every month we have a call, and he's not doing it for the rest of the year. You heard it here first. I know.
All right.
Every Monday, Paige and I used to get really excited. We'd always listen to it and consume it. But
maybe you should start a podcast called Investing in Business. I'll listen.
To be honest, like Jade and I were actually talking this morning on the couch about it before little man was awake. And yeah, like for us, we want to go. We probably do. I think we said it on the last podcast. Like mentoring is something that we've been so grateful for, and I think it's something that we both want to go into, just because of how like we would not be the person we are with all the mentors we've had throughout our life. So Yeah,
Cool.
but that podcast is a game changer. If you want to listen to some good podcasts, listen to
Yeah.
business and investing.
Yeah. There's actually something on a podcast that really is, there's really been two podcasts that have changed my life. One was a podcast with Alex Hermosi and Dan Bolton. And the premise was based around like, hey, if you are new into an industry and you haven't got a brand, i.e. me and Mitch 12 months ago, just go done for you because everyone will sign up. And then something Charlie said really stood out to me in an episode. It was like, sometimes done for you is better than done with you. You don't want the clients fucking shit up. And he probably didn't say fucking shit up. He would have said different language. But then we had done with you and the clients, they were fucking shit up. So we thought, get out of it. We'll just do it all. So it's amazing how some pieces of content can really change your life. Well, mate,
what's the goal for you? I got to ask the question. I'm intrigued. I know
the goal
you told me some figures last month, and I'm excited to hear.
Mate, I live like a bum. I'm not really motivated by money, believe it or not. I'm motivated by winning the game. And the game is to provide the best possible service to gym owners because I believe our service is something they actually need. They hate marketing, haven't got time for sales, haven't got time for calls, and they can't sell. And the reality for gym owners is most of them aren't profitable enough to spend 3 to 6 months learning the skills. So we just come in and do it for them. My goal over the next 12 months is to be known as the fitness sales guy in Australia for gym owners. It is to reach more combat sports gyms, more Pilates gyms, because we convert really high for those type of clients. And it is to become a dad. That's number one. Become a dad.
Love it.
And just ultimately, the business will allow me to be a good dad. That's the goal.
I love that. And then just an overall nice guy because JD he's a good guy. Good guy, JD.
I'm pretty honest, but if you get to know me, I'm nice.
Yeah. Well, I listened to the sales recording of you being brutal with it can be harsh.
Yeah. Well, Jake, I really appreciate your time, mate. Thank you so much, guys. Check out Fitribe. If Jake and Jade ever do online mentoring, you should definitely do it because they are the real deal and they fucking walk the walk.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks, mate. All right, bye.
Bye.
All right.